Hello my loves and welcome back. To get straight into it, today I wanted to share my progress with Ahmed Aldoori's 100 Head Challenge. Ahmed is another creator who has this really captivating and entertaining way of sharing the expertise and experience he's built up over the years, and one way that he does that is with challenges like this one. So I'll have a link to his original video below, regardless of whether you're interested in this particular challenge or not. If you are not aware of his channel or his art, you are really missing out, so do head over and show him some love. But the long and short of this, as we just get right into it, is that over the course of 10 days you draw 100 heads. Really no other rules than that. Like with most art challenges, I think the key is to get something from it that is relevant to you, whether that is building up a daily drawing habit or focusing on observational drawing or trying to work to stylize your art. My priority was to familiarize myself with drawing faces again, since it's been a while, and also just to get back into the habit of practicing art again. I've said it a few times now, so sorry if it's getting boring, but my goal this year is really to just strip everything back and learn. Diving right into the YouTube game kind of encouraged me to strive for finished pieces every week, entertaining videos and art that would make nice prints, but I think the time that I spent on all of that really took away from the time that I should have spent gaining a better understanding of the fundamentals, and just time to try new things and make mistakes and figure out what I really actually wanted to do with my art. And this last week and a bit, drawing all these heads has really helped with that. I'm figuring out a good morning routine that involves a little practice drawing session before I start on emails and things, and I'm feeling more comfortable in my sketchbook just sketching. Another thing I've learned is that my posture at my desk really needed some work, so I've adjusted my setup with this tilt desk thing. I'll have a link below to something similar if you want to check it out for yourself, but it's really helped to keep my back straight instead of hunching over, which, because I've been spending much more time drawing and painting recently, was leading to a lot of back and shoulder and wrist pain. Also, somehow having this setup that I can bring in and out really helps to establish art time and separate it from work time, since I do both of those things at this desk. I'm getting into a habit of pushing my computer keyboard aside, bringing my tilt desk over, and that kind of marks the start of a drawing session. It's little habits like that that really help to bypass that moment of sitting at your desk, convincing yourself not to bother drawing anything today. Speaking of my setup, here is the rest of it. So beyond the tilt desk, which I keep calling it, I'm not sure if that's even what it's called, but beyond that tilt desk at eye level, I have my computer, which I always get questions about, so I'll have a video linked on screen about that now. And on the computer screen, I have the reference I'm using. Forgot to mention, the challenge comes with its own Pinterest board of references put together by Ahmed and I believe one of his patrons called Dina, maybe? So I have the reference and then all of the tabs for the next 9 that I want to get done during that session. All of those tabs lined up, so when I'm done with one, I can just shut that window and go straight into the next one. I also have this big countdown timer going. It's a good thing for me to be able to just glance at as I go, just to keep track of how much time I'm taking with each drawing. I don't set a specific amount of time for each drawing, but I try to stay around the 10-minute mark with varying levels of success. One thing that I will say about this challenge, for me at least, it is deceptively time consuming. It is so easy to spend 15 minutes on each drawing, which doesn't sound like much, but with 10 drawings a day, that's like, I don't know, 2.5 hours, which if you've got school or work to do around that, it's a huge chunk of time. I tried to spend about 5 minutes on each drawing at one stage, and that was great practice in being looser and honing in on the simple shapes that suggest the most, but it was still very easy to fall back into the trap of just spending 1 more minute on it, and then 1 more, and then 1 more, and then it all adds up. Now we're going to start dipping in and out of the drawing while I talk about all the other drawings I did before this spread. I started out tentatively, as I said. It had been a while since I'd drawn any faces at all, and I kind of had to remind myself how I liked doing it. The first day was tough because it's just not nice feeling like you have no idea what you're doing, and it's so easy to just call it quits right there because you've not committed too much time to it. I also had the urge to paint a face in acrylic, which was a bit too ambitious for me to dive right into after so long of not doing anything like that, and I found the result a bit discouraging, but I at least gave myself a pat on the back for having an idea, wanting to do something and running with it before fear could creep in and convince me not to. Anyway, the next few days went well. I was still trying to find my rhythm, trying different pencils to see which felt the nicest and which gave me the look I was going for. I've always preferred drawing men, and particularly old or, I don't know, people with more unique and, nuanced faces. I mean, drawing pretty girls is great. In fact, I don't know, I like other people's drawings of pretty girls, but what I realised during this challenge is that drawing them myself does absolutely nothing for me. Everything is smooth and well lit and well proportioned. It's so much more fun to play with and exaggerate haggard and wrinkled faces, for me anyway. So I like that about Ahmed's selection of references. That being said, I eventually got to a point where I was actually sick of drawing old men and ogres. I'd switch to the next reference and roll my eyes and think, oh god, not another one. At which point it always helped to just get up and have a walk around and come back with fresh eyes. So I figured out that when it comes to drawing something repeatedly, variety definitely helps to keep it engaging. Another thing I discovered along this adventure, which I kind of already suspected, is that drawing faces in general just doesn't interest me that much at the moment. Part of that, I think, is that a lot of them didn't turn out how I wanted them to. The ones that did go well were pretty enjoyable, and I look at them with a little tinge of joy, but in general it was just a weird feeling to draw, make progress, but not find it as fun or rewarding. I don't know if rewarding is the right word, because I definitely gained so much from these drawings, each of them, but I don't know, it made me appreciate how much joy I get from drawing and painting landscapes, making art that I can get lost in. I will continue to practice faces and other things that I need to work on, like hands, and I like that I know I can commit to practice, even if I'm not particularly enjoying it, because that is definitely a very valuable skill to have. But I have a newfound appreciation for the parts of art that light me up. The last 2 sketchbook spreads went really well. I'd figured out a process that worked for me. I felt like I'd found my old style again, and I was loving the way that the black coloured pencil lent a softness but a depth of value to the drawings. Drawing chiselled, moody and, dare I say, handsome male faces is something that I can get on board with, and those turned out to be my favourites of the whole bunch. It was a surprisingly revealing journey for me, this challenge. I feel like I learned a great deal, and I just feel, I don't know, it felt right. It felt like it did its job. If you haven't tried it for yourself, please do check out Ahmed's video and make that commitment to give it a go. Otherwise, I will leave you with the rest of the drawings. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Tonight, but you don't seem to forget about yourself. Wondering how it could go so wrong, but you didn't call for help. But let me tell you about the trees and the seas, how it's all connected. The flowers and the birds and bees, the northern lights, yeah, we're all affected. Pray, pray, pray. I'm breathing in. I'm breathing out. That's pouring into you. And so my friend, let me tell you once again, and you know that it's true. Forget about seeing it or hearing it, in the end you must feel. Forget about all you know, you need to go, it's okay to let go.